Good morning, folks. I'd like to do just a little bit of review on brain structure to help you prepare as you get ready for the big lab exam coming up this weekend. So here's the brain. Always, first thing you do is get oriented anterior to posterior. And there were a few folks who missed a couple questions on the last exam. So anterior in this view would be to your left, posterior would be where my hand is. Things are flipped around. I always like to use the sulcus here in the temporal lobe to get me oriented. So let's pull this bad mamma jamma off. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Brain is fighting me. So from the bottom up, a couple things. This would be the brain stem, which consists of the medulla oblongata, the pons, and the midbrain. This brain region right here kind of looks like it spent a little too much time in the bathtub. This is the cerebellum. In the core, sort of where the pit would be in an avocado, is the diencephalon, two regions inside. And then this will be the cerebrum. As we move on up past the midbrain, this area is the diencephalon. And it consists of a thalamus, which is in here, and a hypothalamus, which would be sort of this pointy portion down here. This model doesn't have it, but there would be a pituitary gland hanging from it. Sometimes folks confuse this structure right here with the thalamus. This is in fact the corpus callosum, and what it is just a bunch of myelinated axons that run from the right and the left to help the right hemisphere of the cerebrum communicate with the left hemisphere of the cerebrum. There were also some questions on the surface architecture. So there are alternating ridges and grooves to help us have more surface area and more cerebral cortex, which puts us above any species on the planet in terms of brain capacity. The high portions are called gyri, that's plural, or each one is a gyrus or a gyrus. And the grooves are called sulci, or each one is a sulcus. There are some hollow spaces in here that are tough to point out because they're simply hollow spaces. Those are the ventricles of the brain. They're continuous with the central canal of the spinal cord and will contain cerebrospinal fluid. And please remember that the brain is surrounded by meninges. Can't see them on this model, but from the outside in, it would be the dura mater, the arachnoid mater, and the pia mater.